not the same. But that's okay though. Vito.
Yeah. Big cool. We are not the same.
No, we not.
I'm on a different plane.
Altitude.
A place that's far away
Far away.
from all you other lanes.
Y'all just saying.
We are not the same.
No, we not.
I'm on a different plane.
Altitude.
A place that's far away
Far away.
from all you other lanes. Vito the Don.
AB the Swan, AB the Realist.
Vito the Illest.
And we are
ABV,
Straight No Chaser, a real show
About real stuff.
for real folks.
Yeah.
Period.
We got it right that time.
Hey y'all, welcome back to season 2. Woo!
If I had one
So
of those
excited.
DJ Clue things, I go bam, 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 bam.
Man, we have missed y'all. It's been what? It's been long enough.
When did we record the last episode? Like May?
Was it end of April?
End of April, early May, I think.
Too long ago. Too
Yeah.
long ago. It's a
We
whole
back.
new year. We're
Yeah,
back.
back.
Wow.
A lot has happened.
A whole lot has changed.
Juvenile dropped the Tiny Desk.
Oh my God. that was iconic though.
It was.
That was iconic.
It was very iconic.
That was good.
I've watched it. Like,
was good.
You know what? Before we get into this, favorite Tiny Desk.
Favorite Tiny
Favorite
Desk?
Tiny Desk.
Favorite is
I'll let
crazy.
you do your top 3 because that's hard. Because there's been some dope ones.
Favorite. The one with Babyface quickly became one of my favorites.
That
He
was a
had
good one.
Tank, he had Avery
Avery
Wilson.
And he had another.
Was Faith on
It
that?
was not Faith Evans.
Who was that?
It was Shantae Moore.
Shantae Mo- I'm sorry, Shantae, girl. I'm sorry. Shantae got a man back home. Definitely Juvenile. And one more, I don't know, Usher.
Usher. Man, I'm gonna say Anderson .Paak is probably my favorite.
Okay.
My favorite Tiny Desk.
That makes sense.
Number 2, it's gonna throw y'all ain't ready for this. What's my dude's name? He had everybody dressed up like the Proud Family.
Durand.
Durand Bernard.
Durand
that
is
it?
crazy.
Yeah. That
He's
was
nuts. I love Durand.
Yeah.
Love him. Who else? I ain't watch it. I ain't even going out like I watched it. I can't sing along.
Yeah, no. That was cold. And then I gotta say,
I'm nervous.
it's a tie. Her and Erykah Badu's.
Okay.
But there's a lot of good Tiny Desks though.
It
There's
is.
a lot. There's a
Also,
lot.
Beyonce went on tour.
Oh, okay.
I said Beyonce went on tour.
She did. I seen her live. I went and saw her live.
Renaissance tour?
No, absolutely
That's
not.
what we're talking about.
Absolutely not.
Please don't cancel us. I understand that we are fresh into season 2.
Can I tell my story?
We'll work on it.
Can I tell my story?
Please.
So I just want the world to know.
Oh my God.
I want the world to know that I was not a Beyonce fan.
Why would you say that?
Hold on. Let
Okay.
me. Can I?
Okay.
Can I come to the altar on my own? So I was not a Beyonce fan. I was not. But I bought tickets to the On the Run 2 tour because you know Jay-Z is my favorite rapper of all time. So I was like, well, I want to see Jay, right? Beyonce, cool, whatever.
Wow, I mean,
Hold on. But yo, when I saw her live, believer.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was a Beyonce fan because she had Ninth Wonder produce a song on one of her albums. Cool. I think it was a Destiny Child album at that. But anyway,
We're going to work
when
on it.
I saw her live, I said,
Wow.
wow.
I'm already knowing.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I said, wait a minute, dog. She is singing like that, running full speed on stage in heels.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
She cold.
She don't run out of breath. She don't miss no notes. She's flawless.
She's cold.
We'll work on it. It was a little rocky there
No,
at the beginning.
It was not. The Beehive was gonna be cool.
I don't want no smoke.
None, but
I don't
no,
want
she's
no
straight.
smoke.
She's more than
No
straight.
smoke.
She's amazing. She's amazing. She's a legend.
She's
She's a legend.
unmatched.
She's
Unmatched. But anyway, Happy New Year.
Happy new season.
Happy new season. We are coming out swinging. I ain't even gonna hold you.
No. So today's episode,
Yeah.
the topic of discussion, we told you we were going to bring friends back for part 2, but
Yeah.
today is, can men and women just be friends? Is it possible? We want to know. The first question I think is pretty easy. Can a single man and a single woman just be friends?
Here's the thing. I struggled with one answer. I try to be as black or white with these topics, but I kept landing at it depends. I think obviously if you have a single man, single woman, there's no harm, no foul if you're not entertaining nobody. But it also just depends on what each individual person may or may not be looking for. Because certain things just sneak up. You know what I'm saying? You have good intentions for things.
Okay.
And then stuff just, organically or naturally kind of shifts on its own. But to the question, can a single man and a single woman just be friends? I do believe that it is possible. To blanketly answer the question, I do believe it is possible.
I think it's very possible, to be honest with you. I think it's very possible. To be honest, I think it can provide for a very healthy relationship if two people are friends.
Correct.
First, or if they just stay friends.
Yeah.
I think as a man, you're always going to need a woman that can give you advice that can only come from an experience of being a woman.
Balance.
And I also think as a man, being that friend for a woman that she can come to and say, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about that? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a situation where there is romantic feelings, but it could be just a situation where, it's a space where I can get advice.
Right.
But I think there's a gray area with that too, right? Because everyone's intentions are not always disclosed.
That is true.
And sometimes asking for advice can lead to a person utilizing
Right.
your advice in a way that could damage something that you're invested in.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that too. But I honestly think single men and single women should be friends.
I agree with that.
And I also believe that there are some perks.
Yeah.
Brothers, listen to me. There are some perks with having women as friends. A lot of times women are very trustworthy. A lot of times they're loyal. A lot of times, they can provide you with perspective that you weren't necessarily thinking about.
For sure.
So I'm all for it. Now, I do believe that my situation is a little bit different, just between the historicity of my friendship, right? Like, I've had a friend of mine that I've been rocking with since 7th grade. And me and her have been friends forever. When she first got her car, it was a stick shift. I'll never forget. When she first got her car, the first house she came to was mine. When I first got my car, the first house I went to was hers. I'd helped her mama move. She done helped me move. She's married. I'm married. We just been friends for almost 30 years.
That's a long time.
But again, I know without a shadow of a doubt, that if I needed something, I could give her a call and she would be right there.
That's good. That's a blessing. I think that to piggyback off of the should, I definitely agree. I believe naturally men are like frames and women are fillers. So all the things that structure, all the things that fortify, all the things that kind of safeguard, that's naturally what a man is. Whereas a woman offers the perspective of expressed emotion or the application of emotional intelligence, kind of leading, like the leading element, that very nurturing. I think both of those go together, so obviously they complement, and I think that everybody needs a balanced friendship in that way.
I think we just need to live our life like the cast of Living Single.
Yeah.
I think there was
Pure.
Now, don't get me wrong,
pure.
right? Like Sinclair and Overton obviously were in a relationship.
Yeah.
Maxine and
Kyle,
that was toxic.
It was.
But it was very
For
toxic.
sure.
But I mean, at the end of the day, like they all kind of had this friendship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that that's extremely suitable or possible. And I miss TV like that, man.
Yeah.
But I believe it's possible. Now I think when you get into, I think the big dependability or it depends part happens when relationships are involved.
Yes.
Right? Like if one person's married, the other person's not. Now, I think the friendship can be successful and it can be healthy.
Yeah.
But boundaries has to be
Yep.
at the forefront.
Yeah.
It has to.
So then, let me frame it because I already see we going there. Is it appropriate for a married man or woman to have a friend of the opposite sex?
I say yes.
Okay, even if they're single, the other friend.
Okay, you can't really do anything. I think you gotta just be upfront.
Okay, I'm already hearing. It depends. It just depends.
I think it depends, but
It depends.
But you said, well, I think acceptability is a spectrum, and I don't think we can be concrete on this and be like, yo, yes or no.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that, but I think there has to be some boundaries,
For sure, to the boundaries.
and I think there has to at least be some sort of cordial. There has to be some sort of cordialness between the spouse and the friend.
For sure.
Like you can't be beefing with my wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like or my wife, and my wife has some male friends. Like she can't be beefing with, I can't be beefing with him.
I think it's interesting because I've heard different arguments from married people. Very much, he don't need no new friends. She don't need no new friends. You trying to be our friend. Like it's very black and white in that way, per the arguments that I've heard. So is it appropriate, especially when we talking about like church? If we bringing up the our background, our ministerial space, it's difficult, obviously, to not have these friendships when you're in ministry. You travel a lot, you meet a lot of people, you network, you do all the things everywhere.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to be friends with people of the opposite sex. But inappropriate, what makes, because I think that this is a relative question, but what makes the friendship for someone that is married inappropriate? Like, it doesn't have to blatantly be anything romantic for somebody to consider it inappropriate.
I mean,
so
if you're shielding them from like even sharing space with your spouse, like if your spouse and that friend can't be in the same space, then you need to reevaluate the friendship.
Yeah,
Right. I think also, like if you got a lie to kick it,
for sure.
right? Like if I can't tell my wife where I'm going,
Yeah,
then that ain't the person that I need to be around.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like that's with anything.
yeah.
I mean, that can even be with a homie.
Yeah.
That maybe my wife is like, I ain't too fond of him. Cause that's happened too, right? Like I got some homeboys and my wife's like, man, you know how I feel about him,
Felt.
right? Like I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
Cool, not a problem, right? But I have to respect that because I know in turn she's gonna respect those things as well. All right, like if I have an issue, I should be able to bring it up, right?
Yeah.
But I think in that space, your single friend should also understand your married responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? The friend, well, I guess what I'm saying is that the friendship is going to change.
Yeah.
The accessibility is going to change.
That's a good point. And I'm glad you bring that up because I am, just speaking for self, I am a advocate for friendship. I love friendship. Now, obviously, I use a lot of words lightly. We've all been through a lot as far as people and things that we've encountered friendship-wise, but it's a different space having friends that are married, whether it's even female friends.
Yeah, that's what
Like the responsibility is primarily your union, as it should be. And it could be very difficult to navigate. But I just think boundaries, as you mentioned, are inevitable. That's with anything, but especially in spaces like these, expectations, accessibility. I dig a little bit if you can. What do you? Because it's the line is so thin. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Friend, wife, or husband. It's just like there's obviously a layer there of vulnerability. There's a layer there of trust. There's a layer there of, experiences that you weather together. And obviously, if you're married, your spouse should be reverenced in that way. But if you have a friend, it's like, man, this person know some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or I've called this person for some stuff.
For
or
sure.
if I know I can call this. So where does that line? You know what I mean?
I think it goes back to boundaries. You got to have that communication. You got to have that conversation, right? Like my position, how I serve at church, like my phone can ring at any time, right? It could be 1 o'clock in the morning, it could be 4 o'clock in the morning, right? But that doesn't mean that I still don't set the boundary.
Right.
Like I still got to set the boundary, right?
Right.
So like I understand that like we been friends for a while, but there's still a boundary on like communication, right?
For sure.
There's still a boundary on things that happen, within the confines of my marriage versus what as a friend.
Right. That's a good point.
I think that there has to be a conversation, and I think you're gonna have a conversation. I don't even want to say I think. I know you're going to have a conversation if this person is or has been rocking with you for some time.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Now, I think new friends is a whole
It's different.
situation, right?
It's
So,
interesting.
like if I just come home on a random Tuesday and be like, yo, I got this new friend, and we going to lunch on Tuesday, and so another be like, what player? Who? What's her name?
We going?
Right?
We going?
Right.
Oh.
Like what are you
Got it.
talking about? Right. So the idea of newness is
Yeah.
different, right? I think the newness brings a spirit of like mutual, like this mutual. You know what I'm saying?
But see, how do you even that? Like, is it no new friends
No, I
if
don't
you
wanna say
married?
it's no
You know
new
what I mean?
friends.
Or is it just like? Obviously, I believe I'm not married. However, I am in a very serious relationship. Praise God. So I think that approach matters. I think that order matters.
Conversation
Conversation matters. All these things. Respect.
Yeah.
That's mutual respect.
Respect the relationship.
Period.
Respect. Be a friend by respecting the
For
relationship.
sure. For sure.
And so when it comes to a space of disrespecting the relationship, right? Like how does that
Define disrespect? I feel like all of these things are layered because it depends on the person you with. It depends on their perception of things.
it depends on their history.
Projected projected insecurity, history, all these things. Trauma. Picking my words carefully. I have had some conversations in the past where the verbiage was my context does not allow. So I think that, and that's why I think that it depends is just a safe, place to fall. But if y'all done been married 20, 30, 40 years and there's been history of infidelity or y'all done maybe separated a couple times and whatever the root is, you got to maneuver a little differently.
You got to take the good with the bad.
For sure.
And also you have to, not only when you get in a relationship and or a friendship, you're taking on the said triggering and trauma that goes along with it.
For sure.
Right? So I think there needs to be a high level of integrity, a high sense of honesty.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready to have those conversations. I think that's the key. Like if you can't share space, then I don't think we can be friends.
So when attraction enters the chat, how we navigating? How can you have a genuine platonic friendship when you are attracted to the person?
You gotta address it and set boundaries. I mean, women are beautiful. Like just simple and plain. Women are very beautiful, And so that has to be discussed. I think, okay, the first thought that came in my mind was this, right? Like, I know couples, or I know people who are married, who are no longer married, who have then remarried, but are still friends with their ex, their spouse, their ex-spouse, right? That person is connected to them for essentially the rest of their life, right? Especially if there's children involved.
Correct.
Right? And so I think you have to, you look at that like, okay, at one point they had to be attracted to each other. They were married, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, and there's other times where there could be an attraction, but the relationship just ain't no good fit.
Yeah.
But we make great friends.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it's not a situation where, well, since there is attraction, we can't have any type of platonic relationship. I think that's like saying, am I not supposed to, find a woman attractive that I see?
I think it's tricky. Obviously, again, everything goes back to boundaries, but I think it's tricky because of the different things that may attract you to the person. And if those things maybe represent things that you don't already have in your relationship or in your marriage.
Well, how do you find that out though?
I mean, such as any friendship or relationship, what you feed grows. The more y'all talk, the more y'all spend time together, even if it's respectful, even if there are boundaries within it. And even that depends on the place that the friendship was birthed. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is a friendship where we spend a lot of time together. We talk all the time. There are different things that are going to feed my attraction naturally. So that just means, you know what I'm saying, that you have to actively like re-up on them boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that can be, it don't take much to just be tired one day and be guard down. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, it's just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So how do you navigate? How do you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously communication is not optional. But, being honest with your person or your spouse about the attraction that you have. And, it's like what some people, I'll use myself for example.
Okay.
When it comes to friendship, like I'm an active friend. I like to spend time with my friends. I like to talk to my friends. It don't have to be every day, but it needs to be like often enough for me not to overthink, because I'll do that. I fill in the gaps if something is going on, or if a discernment thing. I ain't talk to you, your spirit ain't easy, like what's going on? But having a friend that's married and understanding that accessibility, I'm not priority there. How then do you keep a friendship afloat, even if the respect is understood and all the things? What if y'all have to work together? All these questions.
So for me, I gotta adjust my chair a little bit. So for me, I think, and I keep saying I think, because I don't necessarily believe that all of these are absolutes. But I'll say this. So I'm from this thought process that it's quality over quantity.
For sure.
Right? So, like, I have a couple. So my wedding weekend, a couple of my homegirls came down, spent the entire weekend with the groomsmen. Right? Like, we used to play spades every single weekend when I was in college. They were like my homies. I don't talk to them every day. Right? The last time we were all in the same space, me, my brother, my brother's best friend, Dominique, Kelly, my boy B, we all went to Denver together, right? That was the last time we was in the same space. But how I'm down for them don't necessarily change. It's just when we reconnect, we just pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna change. Any friendship is gonna go through those ebbs and
Seasons,
flows,
sure.
right? Those seasons, right? But I think the beautiful part about all of this is the fact that it goes back to the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have an open, honest dialogue with your spouse and or a friend that you may have about what you're going through, what you're dealing with mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of these things. Because at the end of the day, as humans, right, we're flawed.
For sure.
We are very flawed. So it's difficult for a human being to have this ideology of purity at all times, at all minutes, at all seconds.
That doesn't exist.
Right? And the enemy is always going to utilize people that are close to you to make you question your covenants.
Yeah.
Whatever covenant you have, he's going to use the closest people to you to make you challenge that. So I do believe that it's possible, but I do think it's based on the couple, based on their past, based on their experiences. But I do also believe the big word that you said was respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
I agree with that. Yeah. I'll settle with, I think the foundation and the premise of the friendship matters. If you pay attention to what the friendship is, if you're honest about what the friendship is really built off of, what's leading, then I think everything else will follow that. So just be honest about it. And that's not to say things don't happen. I understand we all human, we flawed, all the things. But be honest about the foundation of the thing. What is it based off of? And from that is what will grow.
And last but not least, like what is the foundation of the friendship? Like, how did y'all become friends?
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like it's different if, oh girl, he fine. Let me see if I can be his friend. That's different.
That's trash.
Cause you going in on that type of time.
That's trash.
You know what I'm saying? That's different.
That's
or let
so
me see
trash.
what I can get out of him or her. Ulterior motives, all that manipulative, all that deceit. No. But from the foundation is what will grow.
And I honestly don't want to bring up conversation of double standards, and here's why. Because honestly, there shouldn't be a double standard.
You're right. I totally agree. But
there
there is. But I agree with you.
Like, it shouldn't be something that men get to do or women get to do and men don't get to do.
But I'm glad you said that as a man, because I was prepared to ask you how, and this might open up a whole nother can of worms and maybe we don't have the time for it, but I was just prepared to ask, obviously as a married man, how do other or Mike even, how would you navigate or how do you navigate? Like, men are just different.
But
you know what I'm saying?
You still got to address your own insecurities,
That's
though.
fair. But how do you navigate your wife having a male friend that's, you know what I'm saying? We understand the respect and the boundaries and all the things, but I obviously context matters as well.
Well, my wife had friends before we got married, right? And she has people that she checks on, that she talks to. And if I'm having first of all, anytime I have an issue with my spouse as it pertains to the attention or the what she's giving me, I have to first dig within myself and say,
right,
all right, is this an insecurity that I need to work on? Because if it's an insecurity that's coming from here, I don't need to project it on her.
Yeah.
And I got to deal with that on my own.
That's correct. I think it's very dangerous while you're there. Your friends don't need to know what's going on in your relationship. I don't care how close y'all are. I don't care if it's same sex. Be very careful about the things that you disclose.
I think that's what's been one of the most successful things. And we didn't even let Mike answer the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Mike doesn't have a mic. No, I would say one of the successful things about my union and my marriage is the fact that we've been forced to work things out amongst ourselves.
Same.
Because we lived in Phoenix. My family wasn't in Phoenix, right? And Nell's mom is very, hands off. If you need her, she's there.
Yeah.
But she ain't one to be all in the mix, right? So we didn't really have family to work stuff out. We had to work it on our own. Now we up here in Ohio, and we don't have any family here. We got our church family, right? We got family, right? We got people that we love and that care about us and all those things. But when you're forced to figure issues out,
yes, get it out the mud, just
on your own,
yeah.
And then for a while, out of me and all of my homies, I was one of the only ones that was married,
Yeah.
right? So that was the challenging piece for me. It was more of a like, I'm just even with my homies, like my
Yeah.
boys, like I'm in a different space.
Yeah.
I mean, even now.
Yeah.
Most of my fraternity brothers ain't married.
Most of my closest friends are not in a relationship even.
So that's what I'm saying. So there's even that piece that you have to navigate.
Yeah.
So I think in short, what I'm gonna settle with, it depends, right? Communication is key,
For sure.
right? And communicate because you have to address all of those situations.
That's fair. That's fair. That's good.
I like fair.
That's fair. Fair is good.
Fair
I think
is-
and ultimately we saying the same thing. The foundation is just, that's what's gonna set the tone.
I think people really gonna listen to this one and they're gonna have a lot of conversations.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I've heard people say, and that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, me too.
I've heard people say it's impossible for men and women to just be friends.
I think it depends on how you were raised, man. To be honest with you, because my mom always raised me and my brothers to protect black women, really to protect all women, more importantly, black women. And so we've always grown up with that friend model.
Yeah.
That's just how I was raised, man. Like,
Friends are a blessing.
but I also think if you out here and everybody that you come in contact with, there's some sort of
You are opportunists.
right, either opportunist or honestly, you don't have much self-control or you don't really have many options as you think you do. Right? Like, just
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you might,
Yeah.
like McDonald's is easy when it's the only option.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah. Or if you're married and there has been no harm, no foul, no history of infidelity, and you just can't have friends because your spouse ain't going for it. I challenge
They
you.
need to work on that insecurity, man.
I challenge you.
Work on that insecurity.
I challenge you. That is not healthy. It's toxic. I don't care what you say. It's not respect. It's manipulation. And that's, I'm gonna leave it right there.
Yeah. I think you gotta work on those insecurities, but I also think you shouldn't put anything within the parameters of your marriage that is going to ruin the fabric of the trust that's been built.
Right.
And once that trust is built, once that trust is fractured,
Yeah.
it's hard to gain that back.
For sure.
A lot of times people don't gain it back, because it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's triggering.
Yeah.
And there's even things that are triggering from your parents.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's not even just, and I'm not trying to open up another can of worms, and I know we gotta shut it down, and in preaching mode, I promise I'm coming to a close. But what I'm saying is this, right? There's certain things that
That is
frame
such a
my
good
mind
point. Yes.
that I saw my dad or my mom do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I also know that my parents had mutual friends. My parents kicked it. I grew up in an era where we going over, this your dad homeboy and his wife, but you call them uncle and auntie.
Yeah.
And they going over there to play spades and kick it, and you in the back room with your cousins, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, some of the arguments, some of the things that I saw, some of the, you know what I mean? So it frames the way you...
That parent thing is real.
Way
It's
you build
real
friendships.
because the voices that we prioritize, whether it's your parents, whether it's people that you grew up with, that's family or not, the voices that we prioritize naturally or subconsciously shape our perception.
Yes.
And before you know it, somebody can be feeding you something from their projected perception that will have you tripping, thinking that you're moving wrong when you're not, or, overthinking stuff that should be so simple and natural, or, the inability at that point to be able to bask in. Friends are blessings. Friends are blessings, and it really doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated.
It doesn't have to be complicated, but we make it complicated because we're flawed.
Yeah,
And that's just really what it boils down to.
I agree.
So I'll leave y'all with this directive, man. Talk. Yeah, these things need to be addressed before you say I
sure.
do.
Yes.
Right? Like, hey, how do you feel about my friends?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Even something as simple as who's going to take out the trash on Tuesdays, that needs to be talked about.
Especially if you're in ministry. I hate to keep bringing it back there, but that's just the lives we live.
'Cause people
Especially if
gonna pull
you're
on
in
you.
ministry.
People want to have conversations with you. People
Yeah.
going to pull on you. But they're also, you have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't answer my phone. Sometimes I don't respond to text messages. I look at the time like,
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Anything
Right.
after about 10:30,
Right.
next business day,
Yeah. So
maybe.
you have to set, and once you set those boundaries, you'll be able to determine who is really your friend
Yeah,
and who really wants something else out of you.
that's good. Do they like boundaries? If they
Oh,
don't like boundaries,
they not your
I'm
friend.
afraid they're not friends.
Yeah, my mama said, I'm not here to be your little friend. So everybody's not here to be your little friend.
Everybody don't want to be a friend.
That's a wrap, man.
That's a wrap.
My
Till
legs
next
sleep
time.
anyway.
No, my footy is asleep though. And Mike been back here the whole time, y'all.